All these dummy parents having dummy kids is why Idiocracy is so accurate today compared to when it was first made. I'm in sound and I saw Idiocracy. It is directed by Mike Judge, and if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. The movie starts with a government experiment. Hibernate the best men. But for laughs, I guess, they chose a very average Joe. Alongside other men, they slept a prostitute, they slept Joe. His IQ is literally 100. I find it funny that his name is Joe. It took me until thinking about the movie after I watched it to realize what the joke was of his name. This prostitute is very afraid of Upgrade with the double D. I love it. Oh my goodness. She's afraid of him even after she wakes up in the future, alright? Also, I absolutely love how, let's just not go along with this government plan at all. Nope, we don't need to do that. Let's shut down the building. Let's demolish the building. Let's not clean up after ourselves, I guess, and keep it into a pile of trash. Makes me wonder, when did they stop cleaning up? Was it 2000 and whatever year this was? Like, are you serious? You're telling me that nobody cleaned up the rubble of the destruction of that building? Really? Alright, well, this is honestly the most unbelievable part of this movie, but I'm going to look past that because that's not the entire point of the movie. The point of the movie is getting to the future, and it's a look on the future. 500 years go by, and it looks like WALL-E over here with all these trash buildings. There's an avalanche, and then the pods that they were sleeping in gets dislodged, a big old avalanche, and this guy, Joe, he lands his pod into the window / living room of this guy who's just totally not watching him at all. If I was, I don't know, living in this era, first of all, I wouldn't be alive. But second of all, I would notice that sound. I'd be like, huh? What's up with that? He's watching my favorite show ever, Ow My Balls. Literally, this guy gets kicked in the balls, and that's the entire premise of the show. Just many different ways in which he gets kicked in the balls, and seeing this makes me feel in pain. I'm in pain watching this. Joe is just trying to go home. He has no idea where he's at whatsoever. I feel bad for him. He's just kind of walking around looking at all of these people just being like, you know, just being zombies, being brain dead, being fat. Oh my goodness, there's so many fatties in this world. This world makes me think that America now has eaten up the entire world. And so instead of 40% of America being fatties, it's like 110%. I'm including fat brain. Even if you're skinny, you still got fat brain because your brain too fat to get any facts and logic in your head. Joe goes to the hospital, and then there's this chick, the receptionist, just be like while he's describing the symptoms to her, and she's like, button bit, alright bit, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, alright, what? Are you serious? Who gives people what jobs? Like, who designates the jobs? Do these dummies designate the jobs for themselves? Also, I love the slot health care machine. There's literally a guy missing an eye, and he's just like, I got locked up at 7 this time. I don't know. And he has no eye. It's so bloody. His face is so bloody. These dummies and these fat brains and these fat dummies, they hate the way that Joe talks. They think it's a crime. They want to send him to prison for it, and prison he goes. He gets reprehended by some cops. This is police brutality. If you think we have police brutality now, just you wait until you've seen this movie at all once. Dude, pepper spray? Huh? Psh. huh? Every time he asks a question, like, I don't know, why is he being arrested? Seriously, what is happening? The entire legal process, and I quote the movie, is straight up retarded. And I say this because A, I'm autistic, I'm pretty much retarded, but B, most importantly, there is no justice. First of all, the courtroom is incredibly loud, like it's some sort of a rock concert. And then we have the prosecutor and the defendant. One of them is like, I think the judge should be like, guilty, peace. And then everyone's like cheering. I'm like, that is so metal, what a fun line. But also, terrible justice. I don't want to be in the system. I feel bad for Joe. Also, his lawyer is the guy who he crashed into the living room of. So I'm just gonna call him Lawyer McGee for the rest of the movie. The judge is like, you're going to prison. And going to prison? How did nobody escape the prison before? Are you just telling me that everyone here didn't think about the system at all? Like nobody? Oh my goodness, he's just like, oh, I'm gonna ask the guard that I'm actually in the wrong lane and I need to be in the right lane because I already went through prison. And then the guard's like, go, you're in the wrong line, dummy. All right, go in there, haha, what dummies, haha. And I found that to be very funny because they're the dummies. They're the dumb ones letting this guy leave prison. He gets to the front desk and the desk guy is like, I haven't seen your record of going through prison. He's like, wait, what's over there? And then the guy turns and he literally runs out the front door. So it makes me think there is literally no gate at all, or fence, or any security measures whatsoever. He just runs out of prison. It's super easy to run out of prison. One of my favorite parts of this movie is when I see this chick trying to order Carl's Jr. right at the Carl's Jr. machine. She's like putting in an order, and the Carl's Jr. machine's like, all right, well, you paid. Oh, I didn't get what I wanted. And then she has no money, and then she keeps hitting the machine, and then the machine's like, you are unfit to be a mother. Your children are under the custody of Charles Jr. Also, this machine is super aggressive in its language. Also gassing up this woman to be complacent. Now that's not fun. Oh geez, what else is there to eat? What else is there to wear? Because all they're wearing are brands, and then there's just brands everywhere. I love how easy it is to find Rita, aka the prostitute's name. I love how she's like, man, Upgrade's gonna find a way to get money out of me one way or another, even if it's 500 years in the future. And it's like, I don't know if he will. Also, he has like 1 million contacts, like maybe almost 10,000 kids or offspring. They all inherited the last name Upgrade, or at least the first grade name Upgrade. That's fun. They gotta work together, and I mean work together. They gotta go to the time machine where the lawyer McGee is like, oh, I will show you to where the time machine is. Well, the time machine, maybe over there. I don't know actually for sure. Let me start. It's over here. There's no bed, but no bed is supposed to be there. Oh, I gotta turn right. I gotta try again. And meanwhile, we have the cops on the tail of lawyer McGee and Joe, whose name is not sure, which is hilarious. The machine is incredibly confusing. The one that gave him his tattoo at the prison, but he gets a scan, he gets a little scan on his wrist, and then he's caught, and he does a little overthink, like, wouldn't I have already went back in the future? Wouldn't I ever been here if there was a time machine? He's overthinking the time machine aspect, and then the cops get him, and then he gets pepper sprayed some more, but actually the president wants to see him, and the president is a WWE star. Like, he reminds me of that. It's so funny. He's just riding a motorcycle, drinking a beer while riding a motorcycle, and no one cares at all, ever. He's given the role Secretary of Interior, which makes me think of interior design. There's also a bunch of other made-up secretarial and other White House names, which is really funny because it's like, do they have any meaning at this point? Well, now, 2023, do they have any meaning at this point? Like, I don't know anything about politics. I don't know if there even is a Secretary of Interior in today's world, but there definitely is in the future. You gotta fix the crops. Oh yeah, we're gonna have them fix the crops and the economy. Ah yeah, we're gonna have them fix everything, promises the president, which is what I guess politicians are still lying in the year 25, 20, whatever, still lying. It's up to Joe to figure out what the heck to do with the crops. He goes to the crop place, he's like, oh, there's no water on them. Well, you gotta change the brondo that you're feeding the plants, which is salt. Electrolytes are salt, which is not good for plant life. You need water, but no one ever thought to think of this. They're like, oh, plants have electrolytes. So he switches the brondo to the water. You mean from the toilet? Yes, it doesn't have to be in the toilet exclusively. Why don't you have brondo in the toilet, mind you? Why do you have water? Never mind that half of the brondo stock go bow. The stock go to 0%. Everyone lost their jobs, or at least half of them did. The other half of brondo is still employed, luckily, but unfortunately people are mad, and then people are like, oh, you're not doing good, you ruining everything. And then he's like, I'm just trying to tell you to feed the plants with water. Oh my goodness. There's Monday Night Redemption that he's being taken to. It's monster trucks. We have the dildozer, we have the gas blaster, and we have the ass dozer. The ass dozer's too big, which is really funny. And Joe is just barely surviving. He's given this car with a dildo on the front, which is very obstructive to his view. He almost gets his head decapitated, but he doesn't, which is nice. And there's also Lawyer Man is being instructed by Rita, hey, go check out those plants, right? You gotta look at them plants. Look, they're growing. And then the President Man is like, I didn't see no plants growing. So Rita's like, oh, we have to go take the broadcast camera and show the plants. But oh no, Lawyer Man gets himself a latte from Starbucks, which is just a blowjob place, and a bunch of all the other food restaurants seem to be blowjob places as well. Why can't we just have a place that just serves food normally, like a normal restaurant? But who cares about that? Saved just in time by the audience looking up at the TV, at the whatever that big TV is in those stadiums, those really big stadiums. It was plants, but this guy with the flamethrower is like, I still want to flamethrow you, and the president like, don't do that. And that guy ends up flamethrowing another guy, which is hilarious. And I'm like, oh my goodness, wow, you couldn't take your finger off the trigger? I guess not. So the president steps down, Joe becomes a president, Rita becomes a first lady, they end up having sex and having kids, and I like the end part, which is like, they didn't change humanity overnight, but they at least got the ball rolling. And when I heard that, I'm like, oh, so you're telling me that we got some more intelligent kids, more intelligent than the rest of the world here? Who are those kids going to reproduce with? Are you going to create more children and then have those kids reproduce with each other? Because that's incest, and that's going to cause a lot of genetic diseases. Or are you going to take a little chance with those fellas over there, those dummies, and you're going to let them reproduce with your child, creating terrible offspring, and maybe an abusive environment with lots of yelling? Okay? What do you think will happen? What was the fate of this world? I think it's going to die in about 200 years. That's my prediction for the Idiocracy world. That's how the movie ends. I love this social satire. I think what's happening with Idiocracy at the very beginning of the movie is basically how reproduction is happening right now. So we don't have lions or any of those nasty apex predators that can kill humanity. I guess humanity itself is an apex predator of the environment, and so we've shaped the environment to our needs. And that just includes anyone who is less than smart can just survive in this society that we've already created. And so you don't have to be as smart. We already have an infrastructure. And it seems like there were some smart people who predicted this would happen. And we're like, well, we gotta create some sort of system to make sure that these dummies still run the future. And I'm just like, let them die. We don't need dummies. Well, we do. We do need fast food workers. We do need grocery workers. We do need Instacarters who mess up my orders, but it's also probably my fault. We got all these dummies being like, oh, I'm just gonna have a little sex. Oh yeah, that's fun. Oh yeah, I like to have sex. Oh yeah, let's go, let's do that. And then they get pregnant. And then they keep on having kids because they don't know what else to do with their time except for have sex, because they have to spend all their money on the children, and then they get more children and they have to spend all their money on the children. It's a vicious cycle when it comes to all of this stuff in Idiocracy, and that's how Idiocracy happened, is because we saw a bunch of vicious cycles here. All these dummy parents having dummy kids is why Idiocracy is so accurate today compared to when it was first made. Because of the accuracy level of Idiocracy, it's so great, so accurate, and I think in 100 years it's going to be even more accurate. The colors were grim. I'm not a big fan of the colors, but that's because it's supposed to be grim and dirty, and I don't like grim and dirty, but that's the intention of the movie. It is disgusting. We got a bunch of dumb people, and I think the interpretation of these dummies and the world that they would live in and how they wouldn't really question anything is very accurate to what a dummy would think. You know, I would know because I'm the biggest dummy in the world. I'm super dumb. Like, you shouldn't give me a spoon because I would find a way to turn it into a fork. That's how dumb I am. The ending wasn't very resolving for me, but I think that's the entire point. It's supposed to be very cynical, and the end is just cynical. And I feel cynical towards humanity every time that I watch this movie, so I gotta give this movie like a solid 7.3 out of 10. This review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. You can also like, comment, subscribe, share this video with everyone you know. The ultimate goal of this channel is for me to become an expert movie reviewer, so if I haven't reviewed on the channel, there's a chance I haven't even seen it at all. If you'd like to request a movie in the comments below, you can do that. Or you can fast track a movie review at patreon.com/ASEPresents. $20 a month for one movie review per 1 month. $3 a month, how to draw Pokemon tutorials posted there early and first, all at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support daily grindiness of all these daily movie reviews, you can go to this link tree, find the way that you can help support the daily grind of all these daily movie reviews. So you can go here, and until next time, Mint Salad Saw, I'll see you later, my stack croutons and bacon bits.